Joining me for our daily panel is economist Rob Campbell and Sarah Sparks from Sparks Consulting. Kia ora kōrua.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Let's talk about the treaty, because we have been a bit this morning about the decision by the government to remove this line from the Act that requires a school board to, take into account the treaty. What do you make of this, Sarah?
It's racial discrimination. It's yet another policy that's disrespectful of Te Tiriti, which is our covenant. And, you know, big sign that the teachers are all upset about it. We were talking about it before we came on. Teachers are quite a conservative bunch, and they are very aggrieved. And I believe that with the benefit of hindsight in the future, that the Minister will look back on this as a regrettable moment.
David Seymour was making the point this morning, Rob, that this is about choice. You know, you can either decide to focus on it or you can decide not to focus on it based on who your students are and what you deem to be important. Is that a fair point?
Well, no, I don't think we have the choice about, we can't go back and renegotiate Te Tiriti, even though David might like to do that. He fancies himself in a colonial costume, I think, sometimes. So, no, that's not the point. And it's disingenuous, this whole idea that, the school boards can't deal with these sorts of issues, and then they leave it to the school board to decide whether they're going to implement Te Tiriti or not. Well, obviously, that's something that boards are not able to do and shouldn't be doing. And I think they've got to be pretty careful about this. If this government takes this stuff too far, I already think they have taken it too far.
Yeah, I agree.
But if they keep on pushing this, they are going to provoke very negative reactions on the street, and there will be serious discontent about this issue. It won't just be people doing multiple petitions to select committees. They are provoking people into a situation where the only possible reaction is on the streets, and I think that's what they'll get.
And that's a very good point, Sarah. Does this go to the heart of social cohesion, where now is this being more divisive than inclusive?
Oh, completely. You know, you think of, I look at Te Tiriti as like a marriage contract with partners. You don't just then turn around and ignore the marriage contract, right? And
well, some do.
Well, yeah. Yes, they do, but we shouldn't. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. But, you know, there are other steps. I'm waiting for someone to actually complain to the UN. There is such a thing as an international convention of racial discrimination, and we have, like, a huge list of things that have happened in the last year that can be submitted as evidence, you know, and it's inexplicable, and enough's enough. I agree with you, Rob.
Yeah, okay, let's move on and talk about Beef Wellington. I thought we had heard the last of the mushroom killer. She'd been sent to jail for 33 years, but the news now is that she plans to appeal. Given everything you heard, do you find it perplexing that she would bother?
Well, she's got a fair bit of time on her hands, hasn't she?
It's true, it's true.
She's got to do something with her time. It seems a bit silly to me, but I'm at a fair distance. I think the only good use of mushrooms is for psilocybin, personally, rather than putting them and eating them. I don't like them, so I'd have got out of it.
But you like them in the psilocybin form, do you?
Oh, yeah, no, psilocybin's really good for you, but mushrooms, eating them is not good for you.
What do you make of it, Sarah? Rob's right. She's got plenty of time, but you do actually have to convince the Crown that there is a grounds for an appeal.
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah, there is a legal process. They've got to get leave to appeal. I mean, my personal take on it is that she is a snake in the grass. And but I saw in my reading that actually both sides are appealing. One for the miscarriage of justice, her defence, and then the prosecutors for she's not in jail long enough. So, you know, I'd like to think that justice has prevailed and will continue to prevail, and it'll be interesting to watch what the judge decides.
You've got to wonder why the Crown bothers appealing that sentence. 33 years is an awful long time. What would you possibly increase it to? But anyway, I'd like to talk about Eden Park. I don't know if either of you live in the area, but there's this report that Chris Bishop has commissioned. He's now written to Auckland Council saying, please respond. Basically, let's hold more events there. And it sort of sounds like if they don't respond in the affirmative, he might do it anyway. What do you make of that, Rob?
Well, I've watched Chris Bishop for quite a a long time in politics, and it seems to me he's quite adept at getting reports written that suit what he wants them to say. Certainly across Kāingaora that was pretty obvious, and there have been a number of other instances too. So I'm not surprised you could find people that would write that sort of report for him. If they had written the other report, he would have ignored it anyway, I think. I live about walking distance from Eden Park, and you know, I think that probably the die is cast there. There are going to be more concerts at Eden Park, unless we were going to build something else that was capable of holding these concerts in some place that was more acceptable to residents of Mount Eden.
So can you hear them from where you live? Does it bother you, the traffic, the people, I don't know, dropping their booze on the way to the park?
Honestly, most of the concerts I wouldn't open the window to try and hear. We can certainly hear the Speedway, which isn't much further away. You know, I don't honestly just think it's a dead issue now. There are going to be concerts at Eden Park. It is going to get used. It's a major facility. People should stop worrying about it.
Yeah, Sarah, do you agree? I mean, it's there. We may as well make it economically viable and actually use it for its intended purposes.
Yeah, sure. So there's the economic argument. I get that, and I agree that the die's been cast. However, I also think this is an opportunity to actually bring the community in on board. And how do you do that? You know, I'd like to see that there would be a pilot run over the course of a year, and that there's a review in terms of the impact, and that there are certain provisions put in view, like a community liaison committee that actually works with Eden Park. So there's that bridge into community, because we all know that there's going to be noise impacts, there's going to be parking and traffic impacts, there's also going to be, you know, late night impacts. So there needs to be some compromise where you're not always going to get what you want, but there will be a happy middle ground. So I think there needs to be some more consultation and more approach in terms of bringing the community in. And I believe the community should be compensated, the ones that are directly around Eden Park. So if you've got 30,000 people or whatever, thousands of people in a concert, that is going to be very loud, and depending on the time of day, late, and there's going to be antisocial behaviour as well. Why not, as a gesture as well, when you're doing your economic modelling, you put in a compensation for the community.
For the wealthy homeowners of Mount Eden.
Not all the wealthy, there are flatters in there as well. You've got a mix, right? And this has been imposed on them. I think you've got to work through different areas, and this would be a novel way and a new way of resolving a conflict, but I think it would have merit to do so. And, you know, I think that the Minister might be up for that than facing a hornet's nest of angry locals.